People always ask me where my love for Skylines come from. How did I get into Skylines? And why you know nothing about Japanese culture, because all you do is watch Dragon Ball Z and you own a Skyline, which is true. And I watch One Punch Man and Yu Yu Hakusho. But there's all those things I love thanks to one person, my grandmother, Audrey King. Audrey King, I was about to say Audrey King Jr. But when I was a little kid, I would always play video games. I sucked at sports games. I was cool at fighting games, but the one games I really loved was racing games. And the one game I really played a lot was this game called Test Drive 5. I played that game a lot, and then I let some kid in school borrow it, and then he broke it. Kind of broke my heart that he broke it. It wasn't intentional, but I feel like he did it on purpose just to be petty. But I told my grandma, like, hey, Granny, this kid at school broke my game. She was like, well, that sounds like a you problem, but what you gonna do about it? And I was like, man, I don't know. I approached the kid, you know, I told his mom, I had to tell his mom, he broke my game. What's he gonna do, give me 5 milks and buy me a new game? No, that's like 50 cents. The fuck I look like? So his mom like talks to my grandma, and my grandma was like, yo, you getting pretty good grades in school, so what we gonna do is we gonna get you a game. So we went to the KB Toys down at the Crenshaw Mall, and my grandmother was like, you guys got any good racing games? And the dude was like, we got Gran Turismo. And I was like, yo, I done played that because I remember getting the little Toys R Us demo disc with Blasto, Tomb Raider 2, Tekken 3, and it had Gran Turismo 1 on it. So he has me to Gran Turismo 1, and in my career as a child, I never saw anything so thick, and I was like, whoa, why is it so much in here? He was like, wait till you get home. So I get home, I put the game in, and it's like the little PlayStation thing pops up, and it's like all cars in this game are under one manufacturer. I was like, manufacturer? What does that mean? And then sure enough, the game starts, and my mind is fucking blown away. It's like graphics I ain't never seen before. In my head, like my little freaking 10-year-old brain, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it was, and I played the shit out that game. I would day in, day out, I'd leave the PlayStation on because I didn't have a memory card. My grandmother would always ask me, why is this VCR always on? It's getting hot. It's not gonna blow up, is it? And I'm like, no, Grandma, it's not a VCR, it's my PlayStation. Please leave it on. So she did, and I eventually got a memory card, a little Mad Catz memory card, held enough to hold the fucking game on it. But I would play that game so much that I got kind of good at it. And then I remember like the top cars in the game I liked was like the Supra, the GTSR Viper, there was a Camaro, and then there was the C4 Corvette. But one that really stuck to me was I think it was the R32 and the R33. You could play with that in that game. So eventually I always would play with the R32 and the R33 because to me it was like I liked it the best, and it was kind of like a unique looking car to me because most of the cars in the game semi look the same. So I would play that day in, day out, and I was like womping the computer all the time and endurance races and all that. And then I remember asking my grandmother, like, Grandma, can you get me a Skyline? She's like, what's a Skyline? I said, I don't know, but I want one. She asked me, how much is it? I told her it's 50,000 CR. She's like, I don't know what kind of currency that is, but we don't have that kind of money, and I believe you'll get one day. And I dream about that car forever and forever. I remember in high school, our teacher asked us, like, what was the top 3 things you want as an adult? I was like, a job, a house, and a Nissan Skyline. And some kid was like, Gary, you'll never own a Skyline. Ha! Wrong, bitch. So fast forward a couple of years later, I ended up getting my first R32 GTR from my friend Wesley. And at the time, my grandmother developed dementia, which is a kind of like Alzheimer's, but I don't really know. It's kind of like the same, but not the same. So I remember we'll go in and out, and it really sucks seeing someone you really love like be there for you, but not be there in a sense like physically she was there, but mentally she wasn't. I would always be like, Grandma, how are you? She'd be like, who are you? Like, dang. She's like, did you take out the garbage? Like, that's how kind of memory was. So I told my grandmother, like, Grandma, guess what? She's like, what? I said, I finally got my Skyline. And then she's like, you finally did it, huh? And I kind of like cry inside a little bit every time because I was like, yo, you actually remember I wanted a Skyline of all things. You don't remember my name. You always ask who am I? And then she would be like, you finally got a Skyline. And so the first Skyline I had, unfortunately, I sold the shell, but I kept the motor. And I ended up eventually putting that motor in my R33. But my grandmother passed away even before she could see my Skyline run. So a little piece of my grandmother is in my R33 because she was able to see the Skyline that I used to have. And also she knew about it. So the car is more than a car to me. It's like a symbolization, like something of my grandma I still hold cherished to my heart. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And that's pretty much how I got into everything I got into, was because of my grandmother. She actually took a general interest in anything I liked and anything I really wanted to do, and helped me get it like to her best of her abilities. It wasn't like she ever said no. She always would say, if I can do it, I'm gonna try to make you do it. If I'm lying, then I'm flying. So she never really liked to fly, so she never really liked to lie. So I appreciate you, Grandma, for everything you did.